So Zillow did research on this, and what they found is that properties that are listed with professional photographs sell 32% faster than the ones without. That merchandising really does make a difference.
Help, I need some guidance. Help, selling and buying. Help, I need some real estate. Help.
It is, well, Tracy, you know what day it is. What day is it?
It's April Fool's Day.
It's April Fool's Day. We're not going to have any April Fool's Day jokes today. I tried to come up with some related to real estate. Like we're going to have the Invisible House open house tour today. I thought that was kind of silly. Or the ghost tour of Albuquerque homes that are haunted. I don't know. They're all kind of lame, I guess. So anyway, it's Tego and Tracy Venturi. We're with the Albuquerque Real Estate Pod, episode 529. And we're playing this on April 1st as the first day. We're launching it, but you might see it after that. Tracy, what do we have this week?
So much stuff to get to, Tego. We've got stories, we've got stats, we've got lots of good stuff. Tego, I know one of the things we really want to talk about is pricing your home. You've got some really interesting stats on that. And we had a comment after last week's pod that somebody was asking about price reductions and, the whole red flag about price reductions. So I know you dove deep into price reductions.
Of course I did. Well, and what happened was, the number of price reductions, the number of homes that are on the market that have currently reduced price here in the Albuquerque market is unusually high for this time of year. And so it was like, oh, is that a red flag? Is that a problem for the market? So I've got some data to dig into on that. But Tracy, what's our featured community this week that you want to talk about?
So jump right to it. So we're going to be talking about Mesa Del Sol, which I think we featured last year at one point. But we were in the Phoenix area this past weekend, and we were reminded about the neighborhood there called Agritopia. So let's jump in and talk Agritopia. I could probably talk for a very long time about it. We have some very good friends over in the Phoenix area who are like, that's their dream to move into the Agritopia neighborhood. So
what is it? I mean, I heard the conversation, but you did a little research. Tell me more about it.
So I know during Christmas time, everybody was going because literally you have to decorate for the holidays. And if you don't, the neighbors all do it for you because that's what the community is about. But Agritopia was a farm, right, in Gilbert, which, when you lived out that way 30 years ago, it was all farmland, right? And the people who owned it, the Johnsons, they wanted to have it developed to be a sustainable community, very walkable, very low impact by cars, where you could shop, work, play, grow, all in the same area. So the homes there are a big mix from townhomes, condos, multifamily, to single-family homes up to 7,000 square feet. So we're not talking small footprint in all the homes, right? There's a huge variety. And most of the homes there apparently have basements, which is very unusual for Arizona. But the sustainability of it, they have 11 acres set aside for organic farming, where they grow a lot of things from artichokes and strawberries and zucchini and everything that are used in some of the restaurants that are in the neighborhood or sold to other restaurants around the Phoenix area. So it's very sustainable. I know there's areas where they have chickens, so they probably got their own eggs if you live in Agritopia.
So there's kind of like a town center. We've got the map up here with some, different things there, but then there's, single family homes as well. It's set up to be really walkable, right? Is that the intent?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the infrastructure in the community, there are no cars. You have to kind of park on the outskirts of a lot of the community. They want it to be very walkable. They want the kids to play in the streets. But I'd see on this map, there's one called Bar None. So Bar None is really cool. And what it is a place where individuals, I think there's 12 different things. It's craftsmen. So somebody that's got a craft that they can do their work and build something and sell it right there in the Bar None. There's a winemaker in there, all sorts of, neighborhood type people that have a place to do their craft and sell it. So that's really cool. Also, with Waymo over there and, ride shares and things. A lot of the people who live there don't even own a car. Think about how much we spend on cars a year, right? From insurance to buying them to maintenance. So if you can use public transportation, but the goal there is to live work so that there's a lot of job opportunity right there on site as well as schools, the whole sustainable thing.
No wonder you thought of Mesa del Sol.
Right. So that leads to our featured neighborhood this week is Mesa del Sol. Back when it was first developed, Forest City, Covington, and I think the state did a partnership together. And, remember back when Denver International Airport moved way out of Denver and they redeveloped where Denver International Airport was? That was Forest City, Covington at the time that developed that, and they wanted it to be very walkable. They wanted front porches. They wanted rear loading garages so that it was very old school, old town or small town friendly, environment. And they envisioned Mesa del Sol as having the jobs, having the shops, having the restaurants, everything right there so that it was very sustainable, walkable, and community oriented. Well, 2008 financial crisis kind of stalled Mesa del Sol. It got started, and we actually bought a house and had one built there as an investment, which turned out to be very good. Then, the whole financial thing happened. But right now, Mesa del Sol is very much booming. I looked, Tego, and new home construction right now. There are a lot of new builders right now in Mesa del Sol. So what you'll see is Pulte is there. Abrazo Homes is there. D.R. Horton is building in Mesa del Sol. Go say hi to my good friend Liz, who works with D.R. Horton over there. Westway Homes has new construction going on there. Generally, like Abrazo right now, the homes are $357,000 to $455,000. And, if you don't know where Mesa del Sol is, it's just south of the airport. So for a lot of people who work downtown, UNM, hospitals, things like that, it's very close, right? And
We just got the screen share working, so now you can see the map where it is. So yeah, it's just,
there we go.
Yeah, it's just kind of just south of the airport, I guess is the easiest way to put it, right?
Yeah.
But it's a huge piece of land.
Well, a lot of people know it from the amphitheater out there when you go
Right.
see a concert, right?
We go to a soccer game because there's big soccer fields out there too.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Albuquerque Studios, which is now owned by Netflix, is there. So a lot of hub for the movie and film television industry is in the Mesa del Sol area. So there's a lot of homes on resale and homes that are new. So if you're looking for a house and think Mesa del Sol might be the right place for you, I have a little bit of stat on that. I know, Tego, you're the statomatic, but let me go for it.
Yeah, I didn't
here.
pull any stats, so you do it. That's fine.
So right now on the market, there are 25 homes in our multiple listing service. I know for a fact there are more homes for sale than that right now because a lot of the new builders don't have all of the homes that are ready or in the loop already in MLS. But the average size right now for sale is right around 2,000 square feet. Average list price is $457,000. Low price $329 right now, and it's a 1,260 square foot house. I think that's the size we owned.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sold ours right before they announced Netflix. Bad timing. Just 459,500. So for new construction and resale in a really nice community. Average list price to sale price, which is always interesting to me. How much discount are people getting when they put their house on the market? 99% of list price. So that people are getting an average of 1% off based on the price when they list the property for sale. Low price in the last 12 years was $335,000. So
Got it.
lots of opportunity in Mesa del Sol. And, the Agritopia just kind of reminded me of that. So,
Yeah, no, there's going to be a lot more coming with Mesa del Sol. When we think about new housing development over the next, let's say, 10, 20 years in Metro Albuquerque, Mesa del Sol is going to be a big part
oh
of
my
that,
gosh,
for-
yes. They
for
have
sure.
lots and lots of land to go and lots of new construction to come in the next 20 years. And we assume lots of new businesses because that's the goal of Mesa del Sol.
Tracy, so we're in April now, 2025. I wanted to talk about what are the best strategies for selling your home quickly.
Quickly.
And we've got some very specific things that you should be thinking about if you're going to be selling your home. And then we've got one little kind of, if you really need to sell it quickly, some things you can do, but I want to add a caution to that when we get to that one. So let's start with that, Tracy. We know this, everybody in the real estate business knows this, is you need to price it right from day one.
And you're going to be talking about price reductions. So we've got a lot of data on that. But pricing it right from day one, that's basically my pro tip. Start at the right price. Don't test the market. And a lot of times we're not going to undersell it, because if you price it fairly and there's large demand, we might actually get a higher price for it, So pricing it right and not taking price reductions, coming out of the gate strong, priced in the market compared to relevant sales is really important. Another, Tego, showcasing high quality visuals. Right?
Yeah, and when we say visuals, we don't just say photos anymore these days, because it's more than just photos.
Right.
It's the photographs, but then we also do the 3D tours and the walkthrough tours, video tours in some cases, drone videos in some cases, or drone photos in some cases. I know you're not a big fan of all the drone photos, because if it's in a subdivision and every home's very similar, it doesn't add a whole lot to the
A lot of times,
things.
yeah. A lot of times when you're looking at a drone shot, you don't even know which property you're supposed to be looking at. So I'm pretty particular, but that's one of the things that sets us apart is when we do a drone shot, it's very clear why it's there and what it's showing you. Another one, curb appeal. So people decide
Hold on,
really
before
quickly.
you jump to that, I'm sorry, I just wanted to give a stat. So Zillow did research on this, and Zillow does a lot of research because they see every single home that goes on the market, and they know exactly, they can analyze the listing and see what works and what doesn't work. And what they found is that properties that are listed with professional photographs sell 32% faster than the ones without. That merchandising really does make a difference, and having your, realtor spend the money on that professional media package makes a big difference. Okay, sorry. I wanted to get that in before you jump to curb appeal. We've all heard curb appeal, so let's talk about curb appeal.
Curb appeal's, exactly what it is. People decide really quick. I've had people in my car and we're going to pull up to a house and they want to see it. They couldn't wait to see it based on the photos. And we pull up and they look at the front yard or the front entry or the, front facade of the house. And I go, what? And they say, I don't think we want to even see this house. Can we skip it and go to the next one? So curb appeal does matter. Once you get inside the house, Tego, neat, clean, making it look like a show home.
Yeah, and that was tip number 4, which was declutter, clean, stage if necessary. And when we say staging, sometimes people think moving furniture in, but obviously not. Sometimes it's just rearranging what you have and decluttering. But cleaning is the easiest. Well, I'll say
biggest
easiest.
Bang for the buck.
Biggest bang for the buck. It doesn't really cost you anything to do a deep cleaning on the home.
So, Tego, I have a lot of times where I have to explain what declutter means. So when you just throw out the term declutter, it's basically taking a lot of things that you're going to be packing up anyway and putting them in boxes, putting them in the garage, and taking less out of the house so it doesn't feel too full, right? Making it more like what a model home would look like. People don't need to see every collection you have with everything you own, right? Put it away.
Yeah, that's good. And one more stat here. Professionally staged homes sell 73% faster than unstaged ones.
So didn't know that stat was coming out.
I'm gonna, since I'm the stat guy, I'm gonna put a question mark on that. I'd like to understand that a little bit better. That it's like, okay, what are you comparing it to? But yeah, I'm not gonna get in the weeds on that. But still, we see that all the time.
I can think of 2 quick examples, Tego. We put a house on the market this past weekend. It was available for showings on Saturday. It was unoccupied. The sellers already moved out of state. They spent a couple $1,000s and had the house staged. There was a few rooms where the staging really helped people visualize how you would use them. And this morning, that house is in pending sale. So showing Saturday, today's Monday morning when we're recording this, that house is already under contract. But I also have somebody that had listed their house with somebody and it didn't sell. So we were the second realtor that was hired to help them sell their home. And I talked them into having a consultation with a stager, not to bring in things and restage their house, but to tell them what to do to prep their home for sales so that visually when people walked in, it appealed to them. And a lot of it was take half of everything off every shelf, move that picture over here, put it at eye level. Some of the art was like, some of the pictures weren't at eye level. So everything kind of got a refresh based on the written list that the stager left with them. And we got that house sold quickly when someone else wasn't able to sell it.
One of my favorite staging stories, I just got to do this, is a great story, is somebody's getting ready to sell their house. This was a few years ago. They were like, okay, we're going to sell. The house isn't working for us. We got to do something else. They bring the stager in.
I know this
and
story.
The designer, stager / home designer, totally redesign, restage, set everything up.
With their existing things.
And the people, this was one of us, as one of our colleagues that this happened with. And the people said, you know what? I love this house. We don't need to move.
Yeah, now it all works for us.
Yeah, I thought that's a great staging story. Okay.
We want to maximize online exposure, Tego, and that's something we do really well with our team.
Yeah. Every realtor that lists a home, they put the home in the MLS, and I can take a deep dive and tell you what happens when it goes in the MLS and how it gets sent out. But there's more to it than just that. And so there is a whole strategy to making sure the home gets the most exposure, just like the one you were talking about earlier.
Sorry, I know it's April Fool's Day, and there's something about maximizing online exposure that seems like there's an April Fool's joke in there somewhere, but I can't think of what it might be.
Inappropriate in some way, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Another one, create urgency with a timeline. So sometimes, in our marketing, we're creating some urgency and some timelines because when we list certain properties, right, there are things that we can do to make sure that we're going to get a lot of interest in that house.
Yeah, and we can create urgency in a couple ways. One is if we know it's going to be a hot property, we can create some deadlines on submitting offers and doing highest and best offers, things like that. There's one little trick, this is kind of a pro trick if somebody really wants to do it, is say, we'll give you some sort of seller assistance toward the buyer's closing costs or something like that if you make the offer within blank number of days. So
or
again,
if we can close within X number of days.
Yeah.
Because they might want to be gone in 40 days to their next destination. So they might offer some sort of carrot to get the offer they really want.
Well, anybody that's ever studied marketing and creating urgency, that's just a very common thing that we see, but we can do that in real estate as well. It's interesting because earlier so the next tip is talking about be flexible with being able to show the home as the owner. And earlier you said you might have somebody and you have a situation you drive up to the front of the house and the buyer says, you know what, this house is not for me. That poor seller just, packed up everything, took the dogs to the park, whatever they had to do
to get the house ready
and
for
then
a
the people
showing.
didn't even go in the house. But let's talk to that because it is one of those things you just have to recognize when you're selling the home that you're going to have to be flexible about showings.
Especially in the first week or two, Tego, you want to be ready to, if you have kids, dogs, and you live in the home, just realize it is going to be stressful. It is, yes, get your house ready, turn the lights on, get everybody in the car and leave. Remember that every showing could be the right one. And unfortunately, sometimes it's not, and you've done all that energy to get your house shown. But, making it perfect for the showing is really the goal. And then maybe your house will sell faster because you're showcasing it properly and you don't have to keep taking the dogs, the kids, and everything in the car and leaving for longer than you would want. Yeah, well, that too.
And the last item, number 8, is, and this is really, I don't know if we want to call it a last-ditch strategy. If you really have to get your home sold quickly, and maybe you're not in a position to do cleanup, fix up, haul stuff away, whatever it is. And that's a cash, receive a cash offer from a cash offer buyer, also known as iBuyers, also known as wholesalers. There's a whole kind of list of types of different cash buyers out there that will come in, make you a cash offer. Many times it'll be with minimal or no inspections. And many times it'll be with minimal or no, additional clean out or anything like that. And many times it'll be with flexible timeline.
Yep, and it'll be at a price that's lower than what you want. But for the convenience, it works for some people. And especially to be able to walk away and not be making repairs, there's a trade-off. So there you go.
I want to give a pro tip on that one, Tracy. And I've brought this up before, and I'm going to keep bringing it up because there are a lot of these cash offer buyers out there. And you go online and you say, I want a cash offer on my house. Make sure you shop it around because there are some that are not licensed real estate professionals, although they may sound like they are, but they're not. They're putting your house under contract, and all they're doing is turning around and reselling that before the closing at a higher price. Those are called the wholesalers. There's a place for that in the market. I just want people to be aware. And if you're looking at doing that, reach out to us. Let us help you navigate that process to make sure you're not leaving money on the table. And how do people get a hold of us, Tracy?
Hey, give us a ring, 448-8888 in the 505, or get online, welcomehomeabq.com, and request help. So moving on. Let's talk about the viral post about FHA delinquencies, Tego. I saw you created another, not firestorm. It was a good firestorm because it's so deceptive, some of the stuff that's out there about housing.
It's crazy. I don't have it in front of me. Well, yeah, I can pull it up. So this is it went mini viral in what I call the housing econ world that I live in online. And there was a chart that and it showed this huge spike in FHA delinquencies. And in a very, very tiny small print, it's for multifamily properties, so apartments that are FHA finance. Usually, multifamily meaning duplex, triplex, quadplex, something like that. So it's a very small percentage. And there's something going around that says 6.1 million Americans are behind on their mortgage, which is just complete and utter
falsity,
absurdity, and it's totally wrong. And I see it a lot in the real estate space because it is complicated, and there's so many little different pieces that play into the whole puzzle. And so somebody sees that and says, "Oh my gosh, the housing market is crashing." The housing market is not crashing. Delinquencies and foreclosures are still way below kind of long-term average, and so stop doing that. Anyway, go ahead.
If you want more information on that, just get online. You've posted it on your Facebook. You've posted it on YouTube.
On Facebook only.
Facebook only. So the chart is there. The story's there. Go see it. But it was complete nonsense as far as what people thought the story was about.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that, again, in the real estate space. I see stuff all the time creating fear and panic just to get some clicks. And it's unfortunate because, there's no need for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So price reduction. So we had a post that somebody replied to and wanted to know about price reductions.
Well, a listener from our YouTube, if you're listening, thanks for the question. And I've been reporting that price reductions are relatively high this time of year right now. So about 40% of all the homes that are currently on the market. Oh, Sam, let me grab that mouse and see if I can do this screen share here. About 40%, I'll hover over it here. Yeah, 42% this week of the homes that are on the market have had a price reduction. Now, if we go back every year, I've got the chart here back to 2019. In 2019, for example, it was about 30%, which is, let's call that the normal pace. However, the thing that's interesting about that is we go back to 2019, the amount of price reduction was 6%. So of the homes that had taken a price reduction, of that 30% of them, it was about 4%.
While it's 42% of them, the amount of the reduction is lower.
Correct. I also did dive into how fast homes are selling by reduction, and we found at a very high level because of detail. We found homes on the first 30 of the list price, so they do not have price reduction. For 90 days, price more like 4% of
their original
price, and also taken multiple price reductions to get there. So without, again, getting in the weeds on that, there is definitely a correlation between list price, selling quickly, being priced to the market, having the home in the right condition for the current market conditions versus the time on market.
So let me think about it a different way, right? People might be hearing us saying, sell your house fast, like it's like we're going to fire sale it fast to
Yeah.
get it to sell fast,
point.
right?
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about.
No.
We're talking about pricing your house to the market so it sells fast, because if you overprice your house, it's going to take maybe to sell it, right? If you're not priced in the market, you might get a low offer for it, but you're not going to be getting your house sold if you're not in the right price range. So we're talking about pricing it in the market based on relative sales and what we're seeing for homes of that quality, location, size, right?
Finishes, yeah, everything.
Yeah,
everything,
we're not talking
everything plays
about
into it. Yeah.
sell your home fast and
No.
take a lot less for it. We're talking about sell your home for the right price, but how to still do it, because time on market is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Putting your house at too high a price and letting it sit on the market, saying, well, I can wait for the right buyer. Well, the right buyer is waiting for it to be at the right price. The right buyer isn't coming along if you're not at the right price.
That I'm not going to add anything to that. You said it perfectly right there. That was it. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up though, because I don't want people to hear, oh, they just want people to fire sale their homes. No. That's not what we're saying. We want to get you the most we can in the current market conditions. The
Price it
problem
right.
is if you overprice it, you end up with less in the end.
Right.
If you have to wait that long.
What I saw the stat on that chart, you didn't go that deep, but if you let it sit too long and you ask too much, you end up after 120 days, which is about 4 months, you're averaging 11% less sale price than where you started.
Yeah, you've discounted it 11% from your. Basically,
Well,
what it's saying is you had to keep reducing until you actually got to the right price.
Right.
And
So-
many times you have to overshoot it now because it's been on the market for a long time.
And you're frustrated after 3 or 4 months of showing your house, having to get it ready, and you've stopped turning all the lights on, and you've stopped cleaning it right before people show up because you're disheartened, right? It's
Yeah.
hard to keep that pace. So there's pricing your home and selling it on the right timeline.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tracy, another week.
Yeah.
Time again. It's home buying and home selling season here in New Mexico. And if you got any questions about real estate in the Albuquerque area or need help with your real estate, obviously that's what we do. We've got a great team. Tracy, how can people get a hold of us?
You know what? Easiest, give us a ring, 505-448-8888. Easy number, 448-8888. Or get online. You'll find us on welcomehomeabq.com. You'll find Tego on YouTube, our team on YouTube. You find us on X. You find us on Facebook. If you want to find us, you'll find us.
Yeah, and if you are on YouTube, please subscribe, boost our signal a little bit. Really appreciate that. Add a comment, ask a question. We'll get to it. So thanks everybody. Take care. Thanks for watching the video all the way to the end. We appreciate you. And please click subscribe. We'll keep you updated on what's going on with real estate in the Albuquerque area and New Mexico, and of course, across the entire country. Have a great one.